Hey, Read My Mind Radio family. Before we get into this latest episode, I need your help. I want to take Read My Mind Radio to the next level. That's making it a sustainable venture. But I need to know more about you, the listener. I'd really appreciate if you could take a few moments to fill out a quick survey. Just go to readmymind.com and hit the link that says, what should I call it? Survey. Greetings, my beautiful brothers and sisters. Welcome back to another episode of Read My Mind Radio. You know, the podcast featuring compelling people impacted by all degrees of blindness and disability. Saludos, mis hermosos hermanos y hermanas. Bienvenido a otro episodio de Read My Mind Radio. Ya sabes, el podcast que presenta a personas atractivas afectadas por todos los grados ceguera y discapacidad. We're continuing with our Flipping the Script on Audio Description series. Continuamos con nuestra serie Flipping the Script on Audio Description. By now, you should have an idea of where we're going in this episode. If not, give me a moment for my theme music, and then I'll introduce you to my new friend, and she'll make it clear. A estas alturas, debería tener una idea de hacia donde vamos en este episodio. Si no, dame un momento para mi tema musical y luego te presentaré a mi nueva amiga y ella te lo dejará claro. Read my mind. Read my mind.
I came to this country to start leading the project and start putting all the technicalities together to start doing captions and audio description in Spanish, serving the Latino community.
That's Maria Victoria Diaz.
I used to be Maria Victoria, and now I'm just Maria in this country.
I like people to feel at home around me, and she said I can call her Vicky.
I'm from Colombia originally. I'm Latina. I have tan skin and brown eyes, and my hair over my shoulders usually is how I wear my hair. I'm the president of DICAPTA, the director of the board of DICAPTA Foundation also. I'm an electronic engineer. I'm hard of hearing. My pronouns, she, her.
Tell me a little bit about you, and let's start with how you became interested in audio description.
I started working as an engineer in a television company in my country. The first time that I saw captions in my country was working in television, and I was like, what is that for? I started to be interested in captions specifically. Being hard of hearing, that was like natural to be interested in that kind of service. Then I started working specifically researching about accessibility features, specifically to make television accessible. That's how I started, like 20 years ago, trying to push in my country for some policy or regulations for captions to be included.
How successful was that?
It was just good luck. At that time, I had friends in the television industry. Some of my colleagues from school were the technical director of different television stations there.
Actually, that wasn't the so-called good luck. Those friends in high places didn't make it happen. At least, not until the government got involved.
They came to me suddenly one day like, oh, there's this new regulation that we need to complain. Help us, please. I think that one person in the government had a child who was deaf, and then that's how they became interested. Sadly, that's the reason most of the time. So I started doing captions for every single television station in the country and training.
What began as a 2-person team in 15 days grew to 20 people.
We needed to cover all the regulation that came at that time. We helped them to install all the technical facilities for captioning. So the sad part of the story is that regulation came as still the same 20 years after.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's just like 2 hours per week, one newscast per channel.
Soon after that work began with captions, she met a guy who was blind. He had a question.
Have you considered doing something for me? And I was like, what kind of service do you need or how I can serve your needs. So he was telling me about Kurosawa's Dreams movie, and he was describing for me every single scene of that movie. And I was like, how you can tell me those details about that movie if you don't see? So I was so interested in his specific process.
That movie, Dreams, a 1990 film by acclaimed filmmaker Akira Kuasawa, was subtitled.
It was like a team effort with friends from his university. I started researching how I can be involved in that field. I think that it was aligned with my interests. I wanted to be a musician when I finished my high school, and I couldn't because according to my doctors, being hard of hearing, it was not a good idea to be a musician. And I was like, okay, I have to fight to do something else to overcome barriers.
At this point, DeCapta, Vicky's team of 20, was working on captions and audio descriptions when she was approached by one of the two private Colombian broadcast companies. They wanted to buy her out and control the market. Her response?
No, I'm not interested. I started looking for options to serve in Spanish in other places. I found out that at that time in the United States, services in Spanish were like barely nothing available, not for captions, not for description at that time. I decided to write an email to the Department of Ed asking how I can participate in your initiatives. They told me, no, you have to talk with the television stations or to the channels, and you have to ask them. We are not the right source for business.
Vicky's response set her on a path, and in my opinion, says a lot about her motivation.
I'm not looking for business. I want to know how I can contribute in the discussion. So they just mentioned it to me that they have a television access program. I'm talking about 15 years ago, 16 years ago.
It's government, so that means lots of paperwork.
I can tell you that I was in Colombia in my office preparing a proposal for the Department of Ed. I had no idea how to do business in the United States, the right words to use or how to fill these forms. And I just started reading the forms, filling them up, giving my ideas there. I guess that it was a really good proposal because we got the forms.
Come on. You know it can't be that easy.
They called me, but you can't run a project serving the Latino community from your country. You have to be here. And I was like, okay.
In about 2 weeks, she gathers her belongings, leaves Colombia, and is in the States.
I just really thank the Department of Ed. They shared with me all the information. They gave us the opportunity to come and add value and to discuss and to tell what we think. It's wonderful for me that every single time that I try to do it, sometimes I have to work a little bit more, but I can talk with whoever I want to talk. I can just at least try. Most of the times the answer is no, we're not interested, but it is okay just to have the opportunity to share what you think.
Thankful for that opportunity, Vicky uses her voice to continue her mission.
I came to this country to start leading the project and start putting all the technicalities together to start doing captions and audio description in Spanish, serving the Latino community.
While DeCapta is a for-profit company, most of the work being done has been through the nonprofit DeCapta Foundation.
We really have some new partnerships doing dubbing in Spanish, but most of our work is funded.
Accessing audio description for television and cable here in the States requires the secondary audio programming. And it just happens to be that that's the same channel that delivers Spanish translations for shows in English. So does this mean that it's impossible for a person who speaks Spanish to be blind? Hashtag sarcasm?
Kind of. Spanish language television, they don't have a Spanish in the SAP. They don't have anything in the SAP. If we are talking about broadcasters, maybe they don't have SAP. We are not competing with the Spanish translation in the Spanish television.
Right.
We are competing with the Spanish translation in the English television. The big problem here is that the CVVA didn't include Spanish. So the first thing is audio description in Spanish has to be mandated. What I have learned is that the FCC is following the mandate from the Congress. So how to push for Spanish to be included, I don't know, Tom.
Remember, the CVAA, or the 21st Century Telecommunications Accessibility Act, requires local TV station affiliates of ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC located in the top 60 TV markets to provide 87.5 hours per calendar quarter. How's this for a regulation? AD on everything.
Telemundo, okay, they are part of NBC. NBC is under the regulation. Why Telemundo is not under the regulation?
Good question, but bad answer.
No, because it is not, period. But why, if they are under the regulation and Telemundo is part of NBC? No. I became part of the Disability Advisory Committee of the FCC, and I was like, I'm ready. This is exactly the place where we're going to change the story. No.
When it comes to advocating for Spanish AD, it often comes down to priorities.
We have different problems in our community, bigger than the accessibility. I have to say that. So we are in a different place in history right now. Our concern is like jobs, education, immigration. We are trying to fight different fights. We don't have Latino consumers as organized. The blind Latino consumers that we have been working with, it is not enough. I don't know, my grandma said something, but I can't translate it. How is your Spanish, Thomas?
Well,
my grandma used to say, one just little bird is not able to call winter.
There's power in numbers.
The consumer organizations, they know that that's a problem. If you have to go to the Congress or if you have to go to the FCC asking for specific questions, it's going to be like priority number 10 maybe, or let's say 5 to be more generous. But it's not going to be their first priority. I kind of understand now.
There are definitely people who say, oh, why you talk about audio description all the time? You know, we need jobs. I get that. Couldn't these lower priority issues serve as vehicles to elevate those considered higher priority? Especially when putting it into context. That's what I mean when I say audio description is about much more than entertainment.
Our Latino community communicate in Spanish. We are trying to find our space, our beliefs, our roots, our culture alive. It is incredible the amount of kids that are Spanish speakers coming from different countries, don't speak English yet, need access. We are working with the DCMP and they are doing a really great job. We are trying to include some educational titles there, but in entertainment, we are really, really far.
I'm thinking about the streaming companies. They're not obligated under the CVA, but they do decide to go ahead and stream audio description. Univision, Telemundo, none of them are interested in doing it at all? Or have you not been able to talk to them?
Yeah, I have talked to them. The thing is that, for example, Telemundo at the beginning, what they told me 3 years ago maybe, they didn't have SAP in the whole network. So they didn't want to provide the service for just part of the audiences, not to some other. Basically, we have been working with funds from the Department of Health.
Those funds enable Vicky to have one request.
At no cost, we're going to provide you with the description. You just have to put it on air. Even that is really hard, Tom.
Wow.
The cable companies don't pass it. For example, Canal 22, they are an international television channel. They are in DirecTV, they are in Spectrum. We provided a description, we created all the audio track, and they are airing the program with description. Okay, DirecTV, no audio description. Spectrum, no audio description.
Cable companies, you had one job. But regulations do really go a long way.
Caption is not that bad, I can tell you, because of the regulations. The FCC regulation includes Spanish captions. So we are served there. Just because the regulation is there, they just know what it is, they know what it's about.
In the rare event that the cable company does pass the AD, you better catch it that first time it's being aired, because it probably won't happen again, whether on that same channel or another. The problem many of us have experienced. We know a show or film has AD. Maybe we saw it on one channel or on a DVD. But another broadcaster or streaming network doesn't pass it.
Let's try to do it ourselves. And that's why we started working, creating technology and creating Access for All.
Access for All is a central repository for any accessibility asset. That's the actual digital caption, audio description, and ASL files, for example. No matter the language, they're all stored in one location. Access for All serves as a clearinghouse.
DCAPTA is a really small organization. We need really influencer organization or powerful organization to believe in the value of a clearinghouse, the importance of sharing the resource that we have. That's why we're creating like a membership model under the foundation for people to come and say like, okay, I created this audio description, and no matter if you are in Mexico or if you are in London or if you are in Italy, that specific program is going to be accessible. That's the big dream.
When you say a membership, so for example, Netflix would come in as a member, the BBC would come in as a member, Argentina television would come in as, okay. They would upload all of their audio description tracks to this repository.
So who's member of this repository right now? New Day Films, some movies from PBS POV, and the Spanish content that we are creating with funds from the Department of Ed.
Plus, it empowers us as users to access the assets ourselves.
You download the app and you just can watch the program with audio description. You can read captions or you can do the ASL version of the program if it's available.
The app, developed with funds from the Department of Education, is free. Download the app.
App Store. Double tap to open.
It's spelled ACCESS with the number 4, all.
Get button.
Start the film while your app is open, and voila, you got access. Right now, DCAPTA is working on creating a searchable catalog. Already, they have over 300 hours of content. That little tune or audio icon was created by consumers of audio description and members of the DCAPTA Advisory Committee. It's formed by the notes D, C, A, and G. D for description, C for collaboration, and A for accessibility. The sequence finishes with a G major chord that stands for go. It includes a graphical element as well. It's formed by 2 purple, triangularly shaped capital letters A. The letters are thick and slanted toward each other, so that the adjacent sides are in a vertical position. A blue number 4 sits over the letter A on the left. The horizontal bar that goes from left to right on the number 4 matches the horizontal bar that goes across from left to right on the letter A, and also covers a small portion of the letter A on the right.
What we are proposing is to add that icon at the beginning of the program or in the guide, just to show that is in the repository. I have tried to talk to the big players in the industry. It is not an easy conversation. My invitation is just, okay, so that if you don't have a solution, we have one, maybe you can use this one, or you can start trying it and see if it works. And if not, someone come with a better one. But today we don't have any solution. We are not sharing. We are creating the same track twice instead of sharing the one that is already created.
Oh, Cookie Monster would share his cookie?
Yep. It's against me primal instinct, but you share with me, and me share with you.
There are some who understand.
Nickelodeon, Latin America. We launched a project with them using Access for All, and they did audio description for some shows. They are promoting the show. So maybe that's kind of the support that we would need.
There's even more to be hopeful about.
The world is changing, and I see a better scenario for accessibility now than the one that I found when I came 15 years ago. The conversation is different. More people knows about accessibility and about the description. So I think that consumers are more aware. I just have to say, Tom, I really thank Netflix. They are showing different ways to support accessibility, and they are including Spanish. They are asking for audio description in Spanish to be included. Hopefully, if they are showing that the assets are going to be there, or maybe someone is going to decide to share.
It's probably worth mentioning that Apple also offers AD in Spanish. I know there are some decision makers, or at least some who have the ear of decision makers, who listen to the Flipping the Script series, and hopefully the podcast in general. I believe many of them are sincerely about providing access because they see it as fair and just. If you're an independent content creator, I encourage you to talk to Vicky and get your captions, audio description, and any access assets onto Access for All.
It's supposed to be a membership, and it's supposed to be whoever is going to handle the membership. For now, is the Capta Foundation. We're not charging anything to independent producers. We have a basic agreement saying that you are donating that for the clean house. We're not charging to any user to use. And in case that someone else is interested in having that specific accessibility, they're going to contact the owner to say, like, okay, I'm interested in this audio description to be downloaded to put it somewhere else. We, as the CAPTA, we're going to concentrate our effort in educational programming and independent filmmakers.
Let's talk about the work that you've been doing with a community that's often overlooked, and that's the deafblind community. Tell me how the CAPTA is serving that community.
Yeah. I invited the daughter of a friend of mine who's deafblind to one of our advisory meetings. We were talking about television and about movies and about access. We were trying one app to go to the movies. We asked her for her opinion. Oh my goodness. She was like, are you serious? We don't have access to television. I haven't watched television in my whole entire life. How do you think that I'm going to go to the movies? It was really a bad moment in that room.
Come on. We know by now, Vicky turns these sorts of situations into good. She reached out to more consumers for input.
We started trying to bring captions to Braille displays in a way that they can have some kind of access. Those of them that are Braille readers, that is a minority among the minority. Giving access to the captions streams through Braille displays was the general idea to start working with. It was like 4 or 5 years ago that we started working with that project, and we got funds from the Department of Health. We were able to produce the solution, but then again, problems came, and the industry and the practices.
Of course they did. Technically, captions on Braille displays is easy. The problem is when your captions don't include the name of the person speaking. So it's just an endless stream of words without context.
We try to push again, like changing best practices, just include identification of the speaker in the captions stream just to serve the deafblind community. And so we produce documents and we spread the word in the industry, the caption providers, the FCC in general, to whoever is creating captions, just put identification for the speakers to make sure that no matter what technology is coming, captions are going to serve the deafblind community.
The service is called GoCC and provides even more for this community.
We work with FEMA to provide emergency alerts information. We work with the Helen Keller National Center, and that's the reason why the product is as good as it is, because we work with the consumers and they created what they needed. It was not our invention. We just did what they asked us to do. Next step in that is just to find a foundation or an organization that has all the capacity to share that into the community in a better way that we can do.
The captain's expertise is in solving problems and creating access.
We put together captions and description in a stream text to make sure that the deafblind community is served. So we're doing that through Access for All. So if you use Access for All, you can use it from your Braille display too. And you can read captions, read the descriptions. It is done. It is already there.
The challenge is the speed of that stream of information in relation to the actual film. It could be difficult to stay in sync. Yes, someone could read the transcript and avoid the movie altogether if watching alone.
I don't want you to go by yourselves to the movies. I want to go with you. Same thing with television. Coming from our culture, we don't do things alone. We do things with our families all the time. So the idea is to have synced with the movie just to make sure that you can be part of a group of people watching the movie. It is the experience of being with someone else what is different.
Family, friends, community, sharing. Y'all feel what's happening here? It's about more than access for Vicky. That young lady who never had access to television, they're on Vicky's advisory team.
I'm here to show you that I apologize, but we do better now.
Congratulations. I believe you got a Television Access Award. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Great. Yeah. It is wonderful. The Department of Education hasn't been recognized enough for their support to Access. Those who have been working with them, we know that they have spent, I don't know how many millions of dollars supporting captions at the beginning, before the regulation of captions, and then audio description for years too. But it was really not clear if they had plans to continue supporting description, especially after the audio description is already mandated by the FCC. The educational part of it is not as mandated for the networks, so that's why the Department of Ed decided to continue the programs. We got one of the Television Access Awards. We are so happy.
All of us who care about access should be happy.
We're gonna make sure that Access for All is a reality, not just for our community. We're working with English language content too. Every single hour of audio description or captioning that we create is going to be shareable in a clearinghouse. It's going to be accessible no matter if you are watching it in one television station or in any other. It's going to be accessible using the apps. It's going to be 5 years collecting audio description, collecting captions, and asking others to join this effort. So at least for the educational programming, I think that we're going to have very good news to report at the end of these 5 years.
It sounds like it might be a hard question. What are you doing when you're not creating all this accessibility? What do you like to do?
I'm playing my flute. I'm learning piano. The pandemia showed me my piano in the middle of the living room. My daughters used to play piano because mom wanted them to be the biggest artists, piano players, but they decided that they don't like piano.
They said that was you like that, Mom, not us.
So I had this big coffee table in the middle of the living room. I have two choices. The first one is just giving my piano to someone that is gonna use it, or taking some piano lessons online. I love the music that you play. Yeah, I think that we would go to the same party.
If you're throwing a party and you want to invite a strong advocate and someone who's dedicated to access, or if you want to learn more about the great work taking place at the CAPTA, open your favorite browser and point it
to the CAPTA Foundation, PICAPTA Foundation.org.
Big shout out to Maria Vicky Diaz. I truly appreciate your motivation, resilience, and the great work you're doing for the Latino community. Allow me to welcome you to the Read My Mind radio family. You're an official member now that you came on the podcast.
No, thank you, Thomas. It's an honor really to be here. I love your podcast. I love your discussions. And as I told you, I love the music.
I appreciate that. If for some reason you don't think these topics apply to you because you're not a Spanish speaker, or maybe you're comfortable with your personal level of access to content, you're missing the big picture. Access for one group is never really secure until we all can agree that the true goal is access for all. Peace.